Oh, yes, they do. They do indeed have to fight for their lives to get that extra life. Matter of fact, because that'll be them, the winner heading up to the upper bracket, and the loser heading into those dreaded play-ins. Because all things considered, a lot of good teams heading down to those play-ins. It's not going to be easy for any team down there, and even those who make it into those lower brackets from the plans are still going to be pretty dangerous teams. So you definitely want that extra life, and both of these teams, they're going to be fighting for it.
Yeah, it's going to be so important for both of these squads here. Obviously, we got Nebraska, we got Texas Tech, and their journeys are very interesting, especially when you put in last season to the mix, right? Nebraska, they were on top. They climbed the mountain. They were the champions. Texas Tech, they were one of those squads that kind of were just they were there in the South. And in the end, their playoffs run ended early and some would call it disappointment. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say disappointment. I do feel like this team could have gone a little bit further. They definitely had their moments where you sit there, you're like, oh, wait, hold on. You don't want to mess with this team. But then also at other times, I feel like it's one of those like it's an on and off team, right? They have a decently high ceiling, but then every once in a while the floor kind of sneaks in and they drop a series that maybe they could have fought a little bit more in, or maybe they should have had a little bit more say in, something like that. But nonetheless, whether or not you want to consider them a team that is in this upper bracket, is in the play-ins, they're here to fight for it either way. They are in the middle of this pack, and hey, again, no matter which team ends up getting bumped down into play-ins, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But I think one of the big things I got to view in is actually let's talk about some of these players on these squads, right? I think the big guy over on the Texas Tech side. I mean, it's Moose, right? I mean, who else was it going to be? It's got to be Moose. I mean, I actually haven't fully looked at it, but I'm interested in seeing like some of the stats he has. I mean, this guy, yeah, exactly. He's doing like about a 30% shooting accuracy. He's 1 goal per game on 2.4 shots per game. So fairly low, I'd actually say. That shots per game. But, he's scoring once per game. Not to mention he's got 0.7 assists. So 1.7 goals plus assists per game is a pretty respectable thing on the side. But on the other side, you got a player like Redfish who he's scoring 1.5 goals per game. He's doing like so much on just the offense, and he's also so just aggressive. 1.6 demos per game is the physicality is going to be such an important thing in this game. It's going to be real interesting to see how that affects this squad.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, overall, looking at both of these teams, Nebraska, I would say has a little bit more the favor when it comes to these overall statistics. I mean, taking 10.5 shots per game and getting 3.38 goals per game, that's a pretty high bar. That's a pretty good amount of pressure, obviously being accented by that decent amount of aggression that's coming through. So Texas Tech, they have a lot on their plate to manage. They're not too far behind in most statistics, and when you try and draw some comparisons, because they've definitely come through in some of these games in this group. I'm thinking specifically in the game against Michigan where they just completely took it, like swept it. Obviously, Michigan fought back the best they could, but that was a pretty dominant performance. And when you have a dominant performance in this close of a group, I feel like that probably says something, no?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, this is a squad that I mean, it's going to be. I mean, this we're not ready for it. I mean, so yeah, I mean the Michigan game, right? Like that is the game to look at as like the big difference maker, right? I think that's fair to say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is the big difference maker because isn't it Michigan that Nebraska lost to, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, game 5.
Yeah. So Michigan taking Nebraska to game 5, a team that, as you started teeing up earlier on, that, like, yeah, this was the team that took the entirety of last season, last spring's cup. Like, it took the all the way to the finals, game 7 against Kansas State, who we all know, if you've been in and around the MCC for a decent amount of time, you know that Kansas State never backs down without a fight. And if you were there for that final, you would see the fight that they gave for it. So, this Nebraska team losing to Michigan and then Texas Tech beating Michigan, that can say something.
Yeah, but I think as we're here, it looks like Nebraska is getting ready. I think Texas Tech will be joining us here soon in the lobby, but I don't think we've actually said the friends yet for either of us. So I think let's get to that. Nevex, who do you think is going to win this game? Because honestly, I think there's favorites coming into this, but I don't think it's an easy coin toss. I don't think it's an easy decision.
No, no, I don't think it's an easy decision, but I think that I'm probably gonna be siding with the favorites for the match. At least what I feel like would be the favorites. Maybe there's a little bias that goes into it, but I am gonna be picking Nebraska. I do think that even with a little bit of that game 5, maybe what I could consider a hiccup against Michigan, I still feel like they're gonna be the ones to take it at the end of the day. Truthfully, I do see Texas Tech taking at least one game on them. It's going to be a decent fight no matter what, but Nebraska is, at least in my eyes, is going to end up on top at the end. What about you?
Yeah, so obviously you're going to Nebraska, and one game, I think that's underselling it, man. But I mean, of course I'm thinking it's underselling. I'm going for Texas Tech here. I mean, it's an upset. I think it's fair to say Texas Tech getting the victory over Nebraska. I mean, the former champs, because it's got to be mentioned they are the former champs. Because that's like it is the measurement that we have. It's the knowledge of that. But I think in the end, Texas Tech, they've impressed me. That Michigan win was a sweep, and it was a decisive sweep. I think it's fair to say they did not look like they had the back. But obviously, there was a 0-second goal in there, so there's only so much we can say. But in the end, they were clinical when it mattered most.
Yeah, they were clinical. And hey, being clinical when it matters the most is what you need to do when it comes to competition like this, the competition that you see in this kind of league, especially right now when, well, your playoff, not necessarily hopes, but your playoff chances are kind of on the line here. If you win, you guarantee it in. If not, you got to go through a few more teams. And even after that, you still got a lot longer to go. So this is when it is going to matter. And if they're going to step up and do something, it's got to be right now.
Yeah, but at this point, it looks like that the game is going to be going on as the players are joining the lobby. We will have Nebraska on the blue, Texas Tech on the orange side, and kickoff goes underway right here for a chance at the playoffs. We'll go over to the side of Nebraska right away, but there's a miss there. It will be Slism sticking around with this, but demoed right away. That physicality is coming through instantaneously.
Absolutely. I mean, he's going to push it off to the side, but this Texas Tech team, they very much so know that they can't be giving too much space to this Nebraska team as a shot does go through, but saved by Moose. Moose has been one of their big players in this as he keeps following this play, unable to grab the boost, and Nebraska right now, they're controlling the pace with possession, but it seems like Texas Tech holding on.
Yeah, and I mean, Zimic right now is causing so much mayhem, but I mean, you gotta be careful of Zimic on anyone. I remember this guy, when he was playing over in the playoffs, he was the one that you gotta watch out. There is games that he just took over and won alone, and with a squad behind him that he can do so much damage. But right now, Texas Tech, despite playing defense and at times looking sketchy, they haven't been punished properly. Though right now Zimic's gonna try to deny that. Shouldn't go for the waterfall. The double T Chili will cut it early, but the 50 here with low boost, it will go high. Moose can't quite get there. So the red shot will be off the post. That's another opportunity that they have lost there now, but they are still playing defense. There's still chances here. Zimic into the center. He's gonna have to be covered. Their electro shot. It's off again. That right post has been taking so much of a beating, and it will finally leave into a breakaway. But no, Zimic will throw a shot again. T Chili, can he save it? Yes, he can. Moose now will stick around and, well, take the possession, but it's still so deadly here for Texas Tech.
It absolutely is. I'd like to say right off the bat, Nebraska already has 7 shots on Texas Tech. Are trying to survive the best way that they can. And all things considered, they are surviving, but it isn't without a decent amount of pressure as Zimic is going to put a shot on net. And after,
Nine
shots, 9 times the charm. After the 9th shot, 4th from him, they are able to find the back of the net.
Yeah, but I mean, that was all Nebraska. There was the very beginning of the game. Texas Tech had something, kind of, sort of, if you want to call it that. But again, it's another kickoff that goes the way of Texas Tech. But what's the follow-up in here? Slism, there's a little bit of a double, a decoy. Can't get anything, but Moose is going to try to stick around. Dodges Electro. Oh, the TJ shot? No, it's slightly off, but Slism's able to follow it through. And they only need 2 shots to break through.
Yeah, they do. I think in this case, they just caught Nebraska a little off guard here. That touchdown from T. Chile wasn't exactly like a threatening shot, but it was something that just was enough to make things awkward. And right then and there, Sliz, he's going to jump on that opportunity immediately and tie up this game.
Yeah, but now it will be Moose being on it. Slightly awkward for him, but he's able to get past one. Pitches it down, but Zimic will be there, meet it on the backboard. Next person up is Slism, who's been playing well in this game already. But now it's going to be Electro, though. Doesn't get the contact. Straight down. Little Red will be able to cut it off. Will be sticking around with Moose. Won't be able to get contact, and it's just going to be a passing play here by Nebraska, but it's cut early by Slism. Right now, this is now a midfield battle. Ever since that goal has been scored by Nebraska, the offense has not been the same. Though the moment I say that, that's a shot on target. Chili, what is that?
That was, I don't want to say that was a little bit of a hope and a prayer, but a pinch off the post, off the crossbar, and immediately, I mean, Texas Tech, they're taking that when they can, because they played a lot of defense, and truthfully, the less time they spend on defense, the better off they're going to be. That applies to, well, any game that you're playing, really, but in this case, that's really where their opportunities have come from. It hasn't been from necessarily counterattacks. It's been from the chances they've had to develop something, and they've just got to grab more of them, because right now, this Nebraska team, they're playing a little bit slower.
Yeah, they 100% are. Ever since they took those 9 shots, they've only taken 1 shot since. It's been very much a lot less, but though when Moose is whiffing, it's been a lot now in this series that, in this game alone, that Moose has whiffed the ball. It's going to be a bit dangerous, but Little Red, the Zimic shot will be on that post. They did extend that post. They hit it a couple times. That might have been what got that one through.
I think it was in this case, but just a nice quick shot here from Zimic. Just finding an opportunity. Obviously, they've been throwing a ton of shots on net, so at some point, one of them is going to go in. One of them is going to catch that last man off guard, and in that case, it did work, although looks like T. Chile might have an opportunity here. Does get it over one. That's going to be backboard, but Zimic there to answer the questions that Texas Tech is trying to throw towards this Nebraska defense, because, well, that's how this series has gone so far. Nebraska does something, Texas answers, and, well, right now, Texas needs to answer.
Yeah, but there's another whiff by the side of Moose, but it's going to be put out. Electro gets blocked instantly by Slism. It's going to be Zimic on the back line, though. Gets 50. A minute remaining. There is time here for Texas Tech. And right there, Moose is able to get the dunk in the goal. And with less than a minute left, it's anybody's ball game.
It's anybody's ball game, and there's the answer that Texas Tech was looking for. Sometimes diving for the ball, that's one of the best things that you can do. Whether it results in a goal right away or not, it doesn't really matter when, at the end of the day, you tie up the game that you were behind in twice so far. So definitely a good sign here from Texas Tech. Definitely a big reliever, as we will get a little bit of midfield play. T. Chile, he's going to have to possess this. Trying to get past Electro, does do it, and Texas Tech with an opportunity here.
Yeah, but Laura will clear it out. Will be Slism there meeting, and the ground pinch won't go the way of Nebraska. Electro is there, though. The 50 will get past, but now it's T. Chile. Then it gets beat. Is that going to be in? Yes, it is! And once again, it's a lead for Nebraska. But right, it feels like Texas Tech, they played kind of sloppily. It feels like the challenges, they were kind of half-hearted. There wasn't even a jump on the sidewall. There was just expectation that driving was enough.
Yeah, I do think that there is a little bit of just surprise coming through from the third man of Texas Tech. Maybe just not ready for some of the possibilities that Nebraska can throw their way. As Sliz is able to follow this. Can he put it on net? He does, but Red able to follow up quickly behind it. T. Chile popping it off of the ramp up from the backboard, and I mean, we're within these last 10 seconds. Texas Tech has to find something. Obviously, it's still been a pretty good first game, but you don't want to start off with a loss. But again, against this Nebraska team, a 1-goal loss shows that you're still in it.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of things for Texas Tech that they can change, right? I mean, there's a lot of improvements that they can make. I mean, instantaneously. I mean, the elephant in the room, Moose. It was not a good game from him. I know what the scoreboard says. He has 330 points. He is the middle of his team, pretty even, got a goal. I mean, there's so many moments it felt like Moose he just missed, right? It was just no pressure. He had time, and he just missed the ball. And it just made things so much harder for the Texas Tech squad. I genuinely feel if Moose just made contact just more often with the ball there in those situations, we'd be looking at a different game one.
Yeah, yeah, I do think that we would. And truthfully, I do feel like there was a little bit of shakiness from Nebraska too. I don't think that it's only Texas Tech that might be having a little bit of inactivity
Oh,
from
definitely
some
not.
possible star players. So, will this game maybe take a little bit of a turn more into the capitalizing on mistakes? Is it going to be a matter of which team is able to solidify themselves sooner, which team is able to find their form first? I mean, hey, we will just have to see as we get into this game number 2. Is Texas Tech able to answer the game that they are now behind?
Well, they have to if they want to make sure they don't go on the match point. It's a Texas Tech team that we've seen always take game ones in here in the regular seasons. This is the first time that they're actually starting a series behind. But right away, Slism's trying to put a shot on, will be wide. Next person up is Moose. Touch will go center though, but that is to Electro. It's again, Texas Tech not fully on the same page. So Chili's able to clear this out past one. It's not going to be an attempt to get it out, and a boost deal will be successful. So overall, a good start here, but the shot, again, is going to be slightly off Moose. Now his opportunity will get a 50 with Zimic. Shot by Chili. Will be bottom right. No, Zimic again. He's been playing this well. Chili, though, shot again. It will be high. Red will be there to control it, but no, now it's Slism. Zimic again, 50. He's been everywhere for the squad, making sure nothing can go right for Texas Tech. And right now, the defense holds strong, and it's going to be a counterattack. A shot, and off the bar, but oh, so close, and Texas Tech are not playing defense.
Playing defense, but they might have a counterattack opportunity here. T-Chili, he's going to opt to stay behind it. That's going to go center, and Slism able to jump on the opportunity faster than any Nebraska defender. And at least for this game, Texas is going to start off by scoring.
Yeah, it's the first lead that Texas Tech has had in the series so far. So here on Future Garden, it's going well. It's a minute gone on the clock, and it has been all Texas Tech effectively, other than the one counterattack that Zimic has made. Trying to do an air dribble there. Will get cut off. Chili, though, will try to block the Electro. Will do successfully. Attempted boost steal by Zimic, but does not get the timing he wants. It will be Red, though, now on it. Uses up all his boosts. Unable to make a play. Chili, though, able to save. It's going to be Electro's turn now, and it's Moose kind of in an awkward spot, but Zimic's pinch will be way too powerful. Too much juice on it. Texas Tech are playing this A-okay here on the back. They're not feeling really that they're in any danger with these shots, especially when things like that are happening with Nebraska.
Yeah, I think there's a lot less panic. I think
Yes.
that's fair to say that they're sitting there and they might have started clocking how they need to approach the pace of this game. They need to realize that they're not just going to get outrun every single step, that they can possess the ball like Sliz does and just throw something towards net. Because right now they have a good amount of shots on net. I mean, both teams are 3-3. That is completely different than what that game number 1 looked like, as Moose trying to keep it up here. As Texas Tech are taking their opportunities. They're not rushing to anything. They're not trying to get anywhere too fast, and it's working out for them.
Yeah, right now, the Moose is going to have to get a coverage there. He will do so, but it will be Nebraska on that ball. But the back pass here, though, it's not quite to a teammate. It's a demo. It's a second demo, and won't be a goal. Red's there to block it, but man, does it make things hard. As suddenly, there's an opportunity. Slim tries to put the shot on from the backflip. Won't be able to do so. It's being dicey here for Nebraska, but a big grab there by Zimic will make sure that he can start this ball clearing. And he will do so by himself, but Moose will cut it off. It's going to be another good 50. And another grab from the midfield. The boost control has been much better from Texas Tech this game. They haven't been stolen from as much. In fact, they're doing the stealing. They're the ones having the mid-boost grabs. But right now, it's Zimic again. This is the guy that's been doing well, even with the awkward moments on the boost. And it's going to be back into the Texas Tech half. But again, the shots aren't properly being placed. That one's a bit high. Zimic's trying to get there. Almost does, but can't quite.
Almost does. And I mean, those are the opportunities that you have to be looking for. Right now, Nebraska it's almost too simple to say that they just need a goal. right now to get them into it, because I feel like they really haven't had any proper start off, as I feel like that might have been a possible opportunity, but still possession nonetheless for Texas Tech. Not able to hold on to it, and Lil Red, he's gonna see if he can possess this off the sidewall. No, gonna call for his teammate to take it instead, and after a demo, things might stall out for a moment here, but as I'm immediately jumping on the opportunity, and a bunch of 50s coming through in the midfield, but this ball is slowly leaking to this Nebraska side.
Yeah, and again, it's going to be Nebraska trying to get this ball. It's going to be Zimic trying to get this ball out. Moose doesn't get it. Zimic with the flick. Can he get it? It's in! 1-on-2 by Zimic. Of course it's going to be him tying this game back up.
Yeah, just a beautiful pop off of that sidewall, and he's right underneath it to possess it. One flick over, one flick through. We've definitely heard that before, and in this case, it's to tie up a game, not to win it, but that is keeping them in it to make sure that they can maybe get this match point, which would put them in pretty good pace to take this entire series.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big one for them, especially after there was a mistake made on the side of Texas Tech for that opportunity to even exist. But now it's going to be Chili trying to get this ball out. Won't be able to do so successfully. Zimic sees the teammate center, puts it high, will bounce off the ceiling, but it will be a beat by Moose. This ball, no shot opportunity here. Moose will opt to clear it out, and Nebraska won't be able to get a proper clearing of it. It's going to be Slism trying to take a shot, but it's a miss again. These misses are going to be the death of Texas Tech as Zimic tries to go for it by himself, and Moose is able to cut it off. 30 seconds remaining, but there's pressure on the side of Texas Tech. The double commit. Red's going to be on it. Ball goes high. Won't be a threat right away. The Electro sticking around, trying to put in the corner, trying to go for a pinch. Will go middle. Moose with no boost, able to put it high. 15 seconds left on the clock. It's getting harder and harder. It's a shot by Zimic, and with 14 seconds left to go, Nebraska are nearing their way to match point.
They are indeed, and with very little time, in this case Zimic just able to put it off a little bit to the left and a little under the diving defender to try and just make that last second save. That's exactly where Nebraska wants Texas Tech, and in that case the pressure was too much. Throwing enough shots on net did end up working out, and this Texas Tech team, they have to figure something out. Moose, he's gonna go up, sending it to the side, but it is going to pop up. I thought that was going down, honestly. Zimic putting it to the ground, but that's going straight to T Chili. We'll have to see if a 50 comes through. No, Nebraska, they're gonna hold on, and they're gonna earn themselves match point.
A reverse sweep by Texas Tech to even have a chance to take this game, to have themselves an ability to have a second life. And it's feeling like Texas Tech. What's happened to the squad? This is not the squad we saw against Michigan. There's flares, there's bits and pieces, there's moments. They had 3 shots in this game. They should have had so many more. How much offense, how much pressure did they have? They only generated 3. That's the amount Nebraska can generate literally in 10 seconds, it feels like, when they're on the offense.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, those 3 shots were something that we pointed out over halfway through the game, and then, well, for the rest of it, it was nothing but Nebraska. Dare I say, Nebraska might have just been on a little bit of the back foot starting into this match, but they definitely found themselves again as Zimic, that one guy that I know you will talk about it all the time, and hey, I'm not afraid to back it up in saying that he is a weapon and he is going to deal that damage. And that's exactly what we saw. So, will this Texas Tech team be able to handle what Nebraska is throwing their way? They almost started off with it last game, but now they got to deal with it in this game 3.
Yeah, and right away, kickoff will be fairly neutral. So already a murder on this side of Nebraska. Slism won't get contact. It's going to be Zimic on this ball. He's going to try to go all the way. Gets a high touch. It's not going to be on target. Moose, though, puts it straight down to Electro, and that's a disaster if you're Texas Tech to start off game 3.
It is indeed very low boost, just trying to push it out as far as he could, and it's not enough. Falling straight into the hands of Electro. And within 10 seconds, I should point out, Nebraska already have a goal. That is a horrible start for a Texas Tech team that wants to try and get back into this.
Yeah, and again, Moose just has possession there, tries to ceiling pinch it, and it just goes straight back into Nebraska again. Slism is trying to pre-jump Zimic, but doesn't get what he wants. A boost grab by the mid from Zimic as well will make things a bit harder to sustain their offense. Moose able to get it stopped though. It's going to be Slism next, but no, gets beat out. It's again Nebraska's having control, and it's starting so much earlier. It's feeling so much more dangerous than before. Little Red trying to put it off to the side. Won't be on target. Gets a demo though to make up for his mark. It's now going to be Electro on this back corner. It's going to be Chili off the ceiling though. He's able to 50 that. Well, can he get it again? No, he cannot. Reds on the side, puts it out, sticking around. Zimic takes over. It's gonna be careful. He's got an air dribble. Gets the reset. Will get blocked. Chili's gonna have to do something. Moose misses the boost a couple times, but is able to stick around. Slow though. It buys plenty of time for Nebraska, and so much time feels like it's another whiff. It's Texas Tech making mistakes over and over again, and it's letting Nebraska do what they want.
Is letting them do what they want. I feel like they're back to being nervous. At the beginning of the last game, I said, I think they're starting to find their groove. I think they're starting to find their pace. Starting off this game, going 1 goal down immediately is not a great way to try and find yourself again in these games, in this series, I should say, because we are on match point, and Texas Tech, they're down a goal. They're holding on right now to try and make sure that they can at least keep this game going, and they're not really finding anything. Yeah, they get some clears here and there. Yeah, they get a possess in the midfield every once in a while, but even with some shots trying to get thrown on net, Nebraska just has all the answers.
Yeah, it's going to be Zimic trying to go for a double. Will make it very lateral as his second touch. It's another miss by Moose. It's again, it's in the 20s, it feels like, at this point, the amount of misses we've seen in these 3 games. It's Zimic, though, now in the back, but Moose just takes out a player, but it doesn't matter. Zimic is the one on the ball. It's Zimic doing the clearing. It's Zimic putting on the offense, trying to do a double. Doesn't get the contact he wants, and it will just be a clear out. But again, it feels like the individuality of this Nebraska squad is what is sustaining them at the moment. They are not having the same fear. It's a T-Chili miss now. It's Red trying to do a one-on-one. He's going for it. Will get a demo on Moose, but Moose is able to make the save as his dying last wish.
And we might see a shot opportunity here. Will the double come through? No! Schlism not able to follow it up, and Moose maybe a little slow to a decision there. Not going to be able to make a touch there, and Nebraska has the ball again right away. Texas Tech had an opportunity, and the moment that they can't follow through with it quickly, Nebraska is answering and is firing back in an instant. But even with that, again, this Texas Tech team, I was about to say can't find an answer, but in this case, with a shaky Nebraska defense, they're going to be able to get one in.
Yeah, Electro did not respect the pinch attempt there at all. Was completely caught off. And it's finally a tying goal. But that one feels like it came out of nowhere for the side of Texas Tech. We're going to see if they can make magic out of those again. But right now it's going to be Zimic trying to do it all himself. The waterfall won't be his. Joey's able to put it out to the side. Slism, will he be the one to go? No, absolutely for Chili, who does a heavy touch. Red's able to get there in time. It's now going to be Moose's turn. Puts it infield. Slism's shot is off target. That could have been a chance there, but now Zimic trying to take it off the entire way. Sticks around. Maybe gets the air dribble. No, it will be Chili putting this off. It's now going to be Red's turn. Will be to the side, and here's a moment of leeway, but Electro will try to make sure there isn't. But right now, Texas Tech, they have a bit more control as Slism gets another save.
They have a bit more control, and I feel like they have a bit more boost, too. There was a decent lack of management that was going on, but with a shot that well placed, any amount of boost and a little bit of a scared defense, you're not going to be able to catch up to that.
Yeah, I'm looking in the net there. Was Moose trying to go for an in and out? He, was trying to take the curve in the back and then just decides to do a 180. And it's just moments like that, I think, that sums up Texas Tech right now. There's a Puri jump from Electro. Opts to call it off, but uses so much boost for Zimic, though. Trying to score it himself. Won't be able to do it. So Slism sticking behind. Doesn't get the boost, though. Is able to get the clear himself. Infield, who's next? It's going to be Chili. Gets a touch on the Moose. Shot. It's off again. These shots aren't on target at all. And it's now Red taking another way. It's going to be a 2v1. This is going to be an opportunity. Slism's able to cut it off. It's going to be Chili next. But with a minute remaining and their lives at stake, Texas Tech have got to put something on, or else they are going to be dropping down to the play-ins.
They have to, but I feel like every single time that they try and be aggressive, this Nebraska team immediately finds some kind of answer, immediately puts on some kind of pressure that then they can't handle. There is this middle ground that they need to reach. I feel like they had some decent success earlier on with some bumps, with some demos, with just some small plays that caught Nebraska off guard. They just can't find them because this midfield is completely dominated. This boost game is completely dominated, and Nebraska, the moment they get the ball, they're not losing it without a fight. And they don't have an answer.
It's going to take a miracle for Texas Tech to get back into this one. It's a 2-goal lead, stamped by Zimic, but I have a feeling that miracles don't exist here tonight for Texas Tech with how this has been going. It's a kickoff going their way. It's one that can be used, one that there's so many opportunities. There's a chance here, but no, it's going to be a fake from Nebraska. They're the ones who pull out the kickoff. It's so much time, Burr. It's too much. It's the shot off target. It's over. Texas Tech gets swept. And never once did it feel like Nebraska were on the brink of it, as they will be going off into the playoffs as the first seed of Group C.
They will indeed, with a very, very dominant and convincing performance. This team that, hey, partway through some of these games, we started sitting there and saying, oh yeah, maybe they're feeling a little shaky. Maybe they're not feeling all there when it comes to this performance. Again, I mean, this is a Nebraska team that won last season's entire title, and going into groups, they're 1-1 just like everyone else. But with how we saw them play out here, I think we might be seeing the Nebraska that at least this MCC has come to know.
Yeah, it is not an unfamiliar face, what we have seen, but on the other side, what we saw from the side of Texas Tech is one that it worries. It genuinely worries, because it felt like there was an opportunity for Texas Tech. They were close so many times, but it felt like they couldn't get out of the way of themselves at so many opportunities. And in the end, they'll be thinking back into it. But now they're in the play-ins. They got more important things to worry about.
They do have more important things to worry about indeed, because, well, they got a lot ahead of them. But we can take a step back from talking about Texas Tech and instead talk to a player from Nebraska. We're going to go ahead and bring in Electro. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Went great.
Wow, beautiful series.
It's good.
Yeah. I mean, congrats for you guys. It was a 3-0 sweep the entire way. Did it feel like you guys were just fully in control? It wasn't like any worries for you guys?
Maybe like the second game, they were kept it close, But otherwise, yeah, it felt pretty good.
I mean, it definitely showed. I will say that much. Obviously, that second game, I'll talk a little bit on it. I also feel like this is something that kind of peeked through every once in a while. Texas Tech kind of had these moments here and there of, I guess my best way of saying it were some odd plays, but also in the sense of like, I felt like I saw a little bit of aggression come from them every once in a while, maybe in a demo coming through just to try and slow down rotations, try and maybe get you guys on the back heels. You guys were obviously able to answer it the whole way through. Was there anything that you guys maybe realized halfway through the match that you changed up, or did you guys expect that a little bit coming into this match?
Oh yeah, they felt pretty aggressive coming into it, and we realized that if we played like we did in the first game, the first minute, played pressure really well, then we'd be able to fight back against that aggressiveness.
Yeah, 100%. But I think now you're able to get the clean sweep victory. You guys 2-1 alongside Kentucky, but due to head-to-head, you will be the number 1 seed. That does mean you guys have a date against Utah in upper round 1 of the playoffs. How are you guys feeling about that matchup now?
We're excited. I mean, I don't remember the last time we played Utah, but I think that it'll be a good game either way.
And that was wonderful. Good to hear some confidence coming through. And I want to see if I can continue a little bit of that confidence coming through, because obviously you guys are in the upper bracket. This is starting to feel very reminiscent of something that we've seen in the past. You guys have 2 lives, and last season you didn't need them. Do you think you're going to need them this time around?
We like to keep it interesting. We might just use it, just to keep everything interesting, everything fun, But I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's completely fair. But I think, Electro, we will end the night there with you. Thank you so much for joining us in here. And congrats on the victory. Congrats on the way to the playoffs. And good luck with your
Thank you.
playoff run later.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good one.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah, and that was a good little talk with Electro. But as we mentioned there, the playoffs and play-ins are soon. But I think let's bring off the play-ins here as general. I think a reminder, what is at stake for some of these squads? I mean, it's going to be so interesting to see, right? We got this general idea of what to expect. I mean, there's so many things to go off of, but in general, what we should be expecting is Clemson versus Michigan C++ there in upper round 1, the Group A3, D number 4. Then next, in Group number 3C versus Delaware will be Texas Tech. So Texas Tech will have the redemption chance against Delaware, which I think it's fair to say that's a pretty good draw, actually, for Texas Tech after starting, no?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good chance. Although all things considered, I do think this Delaware team might be slept on just a little bit. I do think they have some decent potential, although again, all of these play-in teams, I feel like have a chance to make a decent run. Whether or not they make it to the finals, obviously we still have to wait and see, but it's dangerous no matter where these teams land.
Yes, 100%. But then following that up, we will have Ohu, the Group B number 3 versus Group C number 4, Michigan. Reschedulers. Honestly, I would say, yes, thank you. There we go. We got an updated bracket on the side for you guys. Yes, Group C number 4 will be Michigan due to today's events. Oku, Michigan. That's honestly, it's a toss-up. We have seen good things from Oku. But again, I think like Texas Tech tonight, when the belief starts showing for us, it faltered. I think it's fair to say.
It faltered. I think that's fair to say. I do think that's fair to say. And all things considered, this Oakwood team, they have set themselves a little bit of a precedent when it comes to playoff performance. So, you know, how much hope you can really have going into it might be a little bit up in the air, at least for me personally. But obviously, we've seen this Oakwood team do pretty well in season, I should say, or in league play, to throw it out there. In this case, it's groups. So I feel like they can do it. But in this case, I guess it's whether or not maybe the pressure of playing in playoffs, playing with the fact that you might have a life on the line. We'll have to see whether or not that gets to them.
Yeah, but then the fourth upper round 1 game to curve the upper round 1 of the plans will be WKU versus Nebraska JV. And that's a game where I think WKU, they feel really good about it. And I think we're not going to spend too much discussion on it. But I think it's fair to say WKU, they feel good. They feel they have a chance here to make something happen to make their way to the playoffs.
Yeah, I do think they do. Obviously, that Nebraska JV team, not to be slept on. Absolutely not to be slept on. If you give them opportunities, they are going to capitalize off of it. Unfortunately, I do feel like they were in a pretty tough group when it came to how things laid out. So they're gonna be thirsty. They're gonna be looking and searching for blood. And you know, this play-ins might be the opportunity for them. Obviously, WKU, they honestly are looking for the same thing, especially with how last season ended. Some roster changes coming through for this summer. So definitely an interesting match. Definitely one to look forward to.
Yeah, but there's also the playoffs. And I think let's show off the playoff bracket here, what we have so far. And there's a couple matches that are set up in stone, and there's a couple interesting ones that we got to look at. Up at the top, Penn State versus Group C number 2, Kentucky. Will be filled in there shortly, but Penn State versus Kentucky. Penn State 9-0 so far in games, 3-0 in series. Are they going to keep the run alive? I think it's very possible against a Kentucky squad.
I think it is too. I think it is too. Obviously, this Kentucky team is a team coming out of the group that we were just playing in, right? And we saw just how chaotic, just how all over the place it can be. So maybe a little bit of group chaos can maybe lead to some hesitancy, but this Penn State team, they haven't taken the foot off of the gas in any way, shape, and or form. And truthfully, it's going to be whether or not they can hold on and keep that foot down coming into playoffs. As for whether or not Kentucky might be able to slip through there, but I don't know. It's going to be tough for them.
Yeah. We're gonna gloss over match B for a second. We're gonna come back to that one. Well, yeah. CSUF UCF. That will be a lot of fun. CSUF, they were a squad that, I mean, what was it, last season? There was belief that they were the best team in the entire thing. In the end, they got third place in their tourney run. But in the end, I feel like it's fair to say, disappointing how it ended. It felt like that they had so much more that they could have done that they didn't. They themselves felt like they had more, just external circumstances made it a bit harder. But is the summer their chance to go on the run, or is UCF gonna dash their hopes right away?
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see it. Other than the one that we skipped over, we have each of these upper rounds having a new team. I should point out. I feel like that is important to point out. We have pretty balanced relative to some of these teams that we already have a decent bit of knowledge of, and these new teams that have shown up and absolutely shown out to compete against some pretty well-standing teams that, again, like, we know we're confident in how they play. So it's going to be up to UCF to show themselves and prove why they deserve to be here against a CSUF that, I mean, if you guys were here for last season, have proven they can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, but then obviously match D, Nebraska will be Group C #1 versus Utah, another new team there against the reigning champions. And I think it's fair to say it's a hard-fought battle here for the side of Utah. I mean, Nebraska, they are a team that's very good, as we just saw tonight, and they will be the underdogs here. But you know, David v. Goliath, will it happen again? Do you have belief?
Do I have belief? Ooh, I mean, I definitely agree with the sentiment of this being a David versus Goliath. This Utah team, again, a new team to the league. So we don't have too much to work off of, but if this Nebraska team plays like they did tonight, at least when they were confident, when they were moving around and they knew that they can control the speed of the game, that Utah team, at least to me, they're going to be holding on for dear life.
Yeah, but I think let's circle back to that match B. There's a funny little game there called Iowa State versus Kansas State, an upper round ones of the playoff. I feel like we've seen this one before. Weirdly enough, we might have seen this one before. For those of you who don't know, Iowa State versus Kansas State was what week was that? Was that week 10? I think that was week 10. Yes, it was week 10. Yeah. It was week 10 of the regular season, where we saw a Game 5, the BO5 victory by Kansas State. It was a big one. It dropped Iowa State down to the 3rd seed, when they could have been the 1 seed. And then on the other side, we had the upper round one of the playoffs of the MCC in the spring. And we saw there, well, it was a Game 7. We saw Milky on Champions Field scorer redirect. One that started a little train for the side of Iowa State to break their way out of the series and get a victory there in Game 7 to drop Kansas State to the lowers. In the end, Kansas State had the last laugh as they made the further run. But, well, it's a third go for these teams here in the MCC, and at this point, it's anyone's game.
It truly is anyone's game. At least, I find it kind of funny that they just keep running into each other.
They really do.
How hard we try, and in this case, they're not even in the same group. They weren't even forced to play against each other, and it's almost as if fate has said no. The series score right now is 1-1. We got to figure out who's the better team, and at least as history has indicated, if it's a best of 7, Iowa State takes it. But Kansas State did end up making that longer run, took it all the way to the finals, and almost had the bracket reset against Nebraska. So we'll just have to see, because it seems like these two are just meant to play against each other.
Yeah, I think it's also really interesting here. Things are flipped a bit. Kansas State were the ones coming out on top of Iowa State in the groups last time. Iowa State went #1 in their group this time around. They beat CSUF. They beat WKU. Now Kansas State, they lost 3-0 to UCF. they had to fight their way back in to get to the playoffs against Oakwu. In the end, they were able to do it. So they're the underdogs, it feels like, in the group stage. But, I mean, when these two are against each other in the playoffs, I think anything that's called logic, throw it out the window. It's all vibes for these guys, it feels like at times.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. I'm gonna be honest. It's really gonna be up to the day. Rocket League is a game that sometimes teams show up and they're just here to completely dominate. And in that case, it's gonna be this Iowa State team. It's gonna be this Kansas State team that is gonna have to dictate whether or not they're here to dominate or not. Because whoever wins that has to go up against, the winner of Penn State and Kentucky, which no matter who comes out of that, they're no slouches either. So that's going to be an important match for both of those to win. And truthfully, if Iowa State takes it, then honestly, I'm worried for the rest of the bracket because Kansas State might just run through the whole thing again.
Yeah, but I think it is time to put away the regular season of the MCC summer circuit. I think it is time for us to call a night, but I think it's time to be excited because the next chapter of the summer circuit's coming soon. It's going to be the play-ins starting on Wednesday. This Wednesday, teams will be facing off. A lot of excitement to be had, but I think it's time to wrap up the night. Wouldn't you say so, Nivex?
I do think that it is time. Unfortunately, we do have to go for a little bit, right? We have to take a breather while we get ourselves prepared for play-ins because this is going to be a decent amount of games. This is going to be a lot of teams fighting for that spot. This is obviously we saw it with playoffs last time, but this is a lot different. We're getting right into the action. I feel like we're getting right into the action at least. So make sure that you guys are keeping up with obviously the stream. If you guys see, oh yeah, MCC Summer Circuit, the play-ins are on. Just check it out. Even if your team isn't in the play-ins, even if a team that's on that you're not cheering for, you can see how things are playing out. But if you don't want to keep up with us that way, we got a lot of socials for you guys to follow too: Instagram, TikTok, X. And obviously, we have a YouTube channel that we upload the VODs on. So if you guys miss a stream, you can check it out on there. So plenty of ways for you guys to keep yourselves up to date with everything MCC. And I mean, I've done my spiel. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people?
No, I think just be excited. There's more games to come, but I think it's time to call farewell. So thank you so much here for joining us for the MCC Summer Circuit here tonight. And we hope to see you here again soon. Good night, everyone.